Hello, everybody. I don't know why I only have 30 minutes to record, but it's fine. I want to show you something. This, yeah, I got a thing, and I absolutely love it. And one day, when I am a serious podcaster with podcast tools, I'll have. Oh wait, it's dark, so you guys can't see it. I'll have this in the background when I'm talking to you. I'll show you what this is. It's a shelf, and the books just fell out. So it's a shelf. It's a honeycomb shelf, and it has my books. And these are especially the new purchases. Of course, they fell out because it sat on a mattress, and yeah. But before I run out of time, because it is a holy Sabbath day, and I usually use this opportunity to educate people on health, nutrition for free. Because I am a nutritionist by training. I practiced clinical nutrition in 2011 and 2012 in hospital settings. Kenyatta National Hospital was, I hope it still is, the largest referral hospital in East Africa. Sometimes I kind of hope it isn't, because that means a lot of work for the doctors and nurses and nutritionists and other staff members there. But I wanted to speak on something that I've noticed keeps coming up. I've talked about decolonizing your plate, and I got that phrase from Dr. Diop. I don't remember her full name, forgive me. I will put it this time I will actually put it either in the comments or in the thing. They call them show notes. I don't think they're show notes for me, but yeah, on the YouTube thing, the place where you have the description. So because I can edit that even if I don't have all the info. So there's something that she talks about with regard to decolonizing your plate. I love the books I have. I absolutely do. And notice that these are books by women, Black women. Well, Dr. Gabor Mate is a man, but he's a voice to reckon with. And then Bessel van der Kokkel, I don't know. Franz Fanon, Black Skin, White Masks, I don't know. Damisa Moyo, of course, is a woman. Esther Perel's books are arriving today. I could die of joy. Of course, persons of color. I mean, different races. And then we have, of course, Mickey Kendall, Hood Feminism. This is a life-changing book. One of the ones I'm really, really excited about is Uche Blackstock, because she's actually a medical doctor. And so when I'm writing about health issues amongst women and I'm getting it from an actual medical doctor's perspective, I intend to see her when I go to the US. This is not just manifesting, this is me being very serious that should I live to see the day, the way I got Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie to sign my Americana, I will get her to sign this book. So that copy of Americana is at my ex's sister's house, so I don't know if I'll get it back, because human beings be wild when they want to be vindictive. But I know she doesn't like me right now, but it's fine. She's allowed to like who she wants, and to side with her brother in this breakup, even though he's the one I was dating, not her. But anyway, I'm going to get as many of these books signed by the writers as I can, because I'm planning to go to the US. And I want to get a PhD there. I do want to come back to Germany, shockingly, but only really because I was informed that I can do my PhD remotely, unless I go to the US and like it so much, because my aunt cousin Mercy has said she's not letting me go once I get there, and she has a baby girl. And I can't wait to be around Kwamboka. So yeah, anyways. And her mom is there as well. And her mom she's a cool mother. She's one of those, she's a mother we share. She's just, Agnes is just mwah. She's mom vibes. and I can talk to her better than I can talk to my mother, because you come to an age where it's easier to talk to auntie or to talk to grandma than it is to talk to mom. Not necessarily because you and grandma are tight. Me and my grandma were not close growing up, but because at a certain age things change. So I'd like to talk about nutrition a little bit, 5 minutes in. And I should get Dr. Diop's book, because I'm also, this coming week, I'm getting a book on the destruction of Black civilization by the Chancellor. And I don't have enough money to get Kwame Nkrumah's book, the one that got him to lose, like, was it $30 million of aid? If I get that book, my life is almost complete. But I'm also realizing there's so many Caribbean writers that I would just love to read. And I'm just going through this. Oh my gosh, there's so many other people to read from. Because I always knew I loved Chimamanda, and I had the nickname Chimamanda back home because I'm a writer, a short story writer, and people said I wrote like her, and I'm like, wait, I've not even read her book. So of course I read her books, and I was like, shit, I guess, yeah, but some stories are similar, especially, Nigeria was colonized by Britain. Yes, by the British, yes. And so there are certain things that will be similar. Of course, I haven't lived in the UK or anything, but there are certain things I've noticed. Like, I was listening to a lady today on a video about, uh, it's a beautiful day out, first of all. Let me just show you. It's just a beautiful day. That's why I'm just standing here feeling all my feels. So I was listening to a lady today talking about home clothes. And the minute she said, it's like, oh my gosh, home clothes. Like the clothes you changed into when you got out of your uniform when you got home. This is not what this post is about. I'm sorry. I have ADHD. Now you see it's true. It's not just a story I make up. I can't tell a linear story. It's spaghetti. So anyways, Dr. Diop, Kemp Diop, is a Black woman from the Caribbean who's a nutritionist, who's a PhD, and she talks a lot about things I care about, which is why I follow her and give her credit where it's due, because I wouldn't even lie and say I came up with the phrase decolonize your plate. And the one time I talked about it, I mean, yeah, stuff like that. And life is lifing today. I just gotten a reminder for rent payments, and just, yeah, because there's a house where I pay rent back in Kenya, and I was doing it with someone who's just pulled out, and I have to figure things out. But anyway, it's fine. I'll figure this out. So the long and short is, I have been following Dr. Diop for a while. And I also follow Dr. Raquel Martin, who's also a professor at Tennessee University, I think. And she also speaks about a lot of systemic issues. Now, Dr. Raquel Martin is a psychologist and also a professor. I mean, meaning she teaches. Oh my gosh, and she just appeared. She literally just appeared on my Instagram. Our phones listen to us. And when I listen to these women, I hear so many parallels between how we practice nutrition in Kenya and how we really just ought to practice nutrition, because they get it. They get that. So, for instance, let me pick something specific, because gosh, we're already 9 minutes in, and I've not yet gotten to the thing. But that's my style. I will not apologize. So, for instance, Dr. Kera Nyemb Diop, it wasn't Kemb, it was Nyemb Diop. That's her on Instagram, and she's called Black Nutritionist, and she's incredible. She's incredible because she speaks on issues that I wish more nutritionists would talk about in Kenya. And this is not me to here coming to trash anyone or say, oh, I think I could do a better job or whatever. No. However, I am really good at what I do, and I've worked with people from different parts of the world. Literally, I've had potential clients from India. I've had clients from and in the US. I've had clients from and in the UK. I've had clients actually, more than one, from and in Australia, and then clients from and in Canada. And of course, Africa, like West Africa, East Africa, mostly. The only person who's been my client in South Africa is not from South Africa, but they're in South Africa. I've shared some tips with people from North Africa. Like basically, I've covered the continent, and I was supposed to collaborate with someone from the Congo, but they're in the middle of a lot of things, and I've noticed that I'm starting to prefer to work with women. So this person is a personal trainer, and I have a personal trainer in Kenya. Like basically she's between Kenya and Tanzania. I would rather work with her because I just work better with women. um so one of the things that she has addressed today, is it today, Sharon, or are you just saying things? Yes, 19 hours ago is today-ish. This is by Dr. Kara Nyam Diop, and she's on Instagram as at black nutritionist, black dot nutritionist. So at BLACK, then dot, and then nutritionist. Okay, that's the post I'm referring to, and I would like to highlight some things. So I've been doing a lot of research on the US because that's where my master's thesis is based. Yeah, like that's the setting. But then I've decided to expand it to Germany because I'm here and I've done some research here amongst Black people. And lastly, I will be touching on Kenya because I'm Kenyan, proudly Kenyan, planning to go back home because they're not like us. And also, this is in home. And also, the temperatures are dropping, and I have seasonal affective disorder. Like even when it just rains on a random day, my mood is off. So, um, one of the biggest lies that people have been saying about Black women, because rates of obesity and overweight are quite high amongst Black women. Actually, they're the highest demographic. They have the highest incidence and prevalence of obesity and overweight in the US. Of course, based on the BMI, which was just not built for any human being, but I mean, the food pyramid was not built for anyone. The BMI is based off of adult white men, so and it's fat phobic. For instance, it doesn't factor in that if you have the shape of a pear, you're cool. If your weight is around your thighs and your bum, you're fine. Because look at African bodies. The issue is usually if you have abdominal fat, because that's linked to insulin resistance. But Black women don't care about their health. We are constantly advocating for our health and well-being, but are often ignored or dismissed by the medical system. The number of clients, this is me angry, on a holy Sabbath day, who've come to me because a doctor told them some stupid crap like get a baby and your period pain will go away, and they didn't screen them for endometriosis. They didn't check if they have cysts on their ovaries. They didn't even bother to see if they have stress that they're not managing, because your period is a report card. It's supposed to tell you how you're doing stress wise, hydration wise. Your period is worse when you take more salt during your period. Your period is worse if you are zinc and magnesium deficient. Your period is worse if and worse being even just the way you feel. You will almost feel depressed if you have iron deficiency, anemia, or if you're calcium deficient. And then if you don't exercise regularly and all those things. However, there's so much more to it than get pregnant. There really is. And then there's actual research to prove that women's issues have been completely forgotten by research. Like ADHD is well researched because it was a boy's condition. That is why so many women are getting their diagnosis late. This hits home because I'm also a late diagnosed ADHD. I have ADHD. I got to learn at the age of 34 in not October, but somewhere late 2022. Do you know the amount of grief you go through when you're like, oh, wait, so there was nothing wrong with me? I was beaten a lot by teachers. Oh, God, I was beaten. The trauma that I carry with me because of how much I was beaten for never meeting my full potential or for being careless, slow, forgetful, things I had my mom complain about all my life. And I love my mother, by the way, leave me alone. And I got into trouble for being too direct, for, they thought I was being disrespectful. And I just, so now imagine women going to hospital to complain that they're in pain, and then you're told, no, it's no, you're imagining things. And then you discover 7 to 10 years later that you have endometriosis. And guess what? Oh, it is not just stage 1, it's stage 4. So we even removing your uterus at this point is not going to help because the tissue has spread through to your lungs, or God knows where else it could have spread. I have 15 minutes. Let me rant quickly. That black women don't have eating disorders. If I hear another person say that eating disorders are a white person's problem, I will literally throw something at them. Because fine, the DSM, the Bible of Psychology, was not necessarily designed with us in mind, but just assuming that depression is a white person's problem. And I used to make those jokes. When I was a child, I thought like a child. But now that I am grown and I see how harmful it is to say things like that, I don't say them anymore. Because I have struggled with disordered eating as well, and cutting and other forms of self-harm. And the fact that I was made to believe from childhood and in movies and books that this was a white person's problem, and of course every time you watch something on Netflix you see that it's a white girl of a certain age, of a certain home, of a certain kinds of issues, and you're like, I don't see myself there. Mainstream media owes us a lot with regard to misrepresenting how issues are, and they, as Dr. Raquel Martin said, need to start hiring real psychologists when they want people to role play, or maybe get someone who has struggled with disordered eating to play a role in a movie or a series. There are so many of us out here just saying, yes, I have struggled with this. We will know how to get into that role again. And fine, maybe if it's not safe for us because we will get triggered and we might go down a rabbit hole, make sure part of your care package is to have a psychologist attached to us, like the way I have one I work with who has also studied sociology. I mean, let us move on. And so she says, Dr. Diop, black women suffer from eating disorders at the same rate or higher because, we don't report things. We don't put out our dirty linen culturally as other groups, yet are less likely to receive diagnosis and treatment. Same for very many conditions, including asthma, including any condition that has to do with pain. We're just at the bottom, which is why we want Kamala Harris in power. We just need to see that one of us can be there. It means so much to us. Black women should focus on weight loss to solve their health problems. Do you know how many times I have fought with doctors for shaming someone and telling them, you just need to lose weight? You don't ask them how much they make. You don't ask them how many kids they have. You don't ask if they have a supportive partner at home, whether they can trust this partner to prepare a healthy, nutritious, well-cooked meal for the children they are parenting together. No, you don't ask those things. You just tell her you're fat and it's your fault and you need to exercise. Eat vegetables. Yeah, does she live near a market? Does she have the means to buy vegetables? Is it cheaper for her to buy something that can be eaten once and cleared so that she can buy it again tomorrow because she works from 5 a.m. And by works from 5 a.m. I mean she wakes up at 4 or 3 to get into a bus to be able to get to where she's going, or walk an hour or two to where she'll go wash clothes for someone who will pay her a measly €5, $5 every wash, and sometimes tell her, oh, I don't have much today, I'll give you 4 and give you the other one next time. Those are the lived realities of women, by the way. Casual laborers. Do you know that these are I'm saying this to every doctor who has actually told a woman, why are you overweight? Have you checked her hormones? Have you seen whether she has PCOS? Have you seen whether she has anxiety or she's on anti-anxiety medication? Have you checked her birth control? How many nutritionists are doing that? How many doctors are doing that? We are just out here shaming people and telling people abs are sexy without telling people, oh yeah, by the way, there's also this new condition that is called orthorexia, where you get obsessed with clean eating, and it is as bad, if not worse, well, let's say as bad as binging and purging. Do we talk about that? All we want is to see people who are skinny walking around. We don't care about their mental health. We don't care about their physical health. We don't care about more important things like their hemoglobin. Why are women of reproductive age being pushed to donate blood, and yet so many have a hemoglobin of 10 and below? I've met women who've given birth and the hemoglobin is at 6. Mine was at 8.1 in Germany, and they wanted to put me on intravenous iron at 200 euros a bag. I talked to Dr. Naima on Monday and I was like, no, I'd rather eat beef. That's how I started eating meat again. And I have fibroids, and very few women, very few black women know, and many of them are dying because of fibroid related complications, because we don't teach these patients when they come to us. Those 10-15 minutes, I don't know what we're discussing with them. We don't tell them that if your fibroids cause you to be anemic, or your fibroids cause you to bleed heavily during your period, so you become anemic, let me say it that way, your heart will get involved. And once your heart gets involved, we've lost loved ones. Ask women out here. Imagine in 2024, we are still telling women they can't get hysterectomies at the age of 36, 37, if they don't have children, or if their youngest is not under 5 years, and if they don't have permission from a husband. In the year 2024, when men are killing women and setting them on fire, and then dying in the burns unit, and then leaving those children with no one to care for in this economy, the priority is what does a man feel about my uterus? Abortion care is healthcare. If you don't have a uterus, you have no right to have an opinion on this matter, because you'll get a girl pregnant and walk away. She's the one who winds up with this kid. And before you come at me with, oh, but you know, oh, but that child is also mine, I have no assurance that you will participate in parenting. Is that a risk I'm willing to take, considering how women are being treated the world over? In Germany, in France, in the US, in Kenya, and other parts of Africa. I mean, I can't force you to make alimony payments. I can't force you to take care of your child if you don't want to. And Children's Court is out here siding with men just because they speak better German than us, or they have citizenship or passports from Germany. If I told you the stories, there's a reason why I will not have a child for or with a man. A woman maybe, a man never. You cannot pay me enough, Dr. Diop says. Blaming black women's health conditions on obesity ignores the socio-historical factors at play: systemic racism, sexism, stress from difficult life circumstances, which causes weight gain, by the way, are the root causes of many chronic diseases. Now, because a man said it, now we can pay attention, because Dr. Gabor Mate has written When the Body Says No. And, you know, Bessel van der Kokkel has written The Body Keeps Score. How many women have I worked with and I've told them, you know what, let's not focus on the nutrition. Tell me how your marriage is. And after 3 sessions with me, where we're just talking about marriage, not their food, they're losing weight. Explain that to me. Because they finally got a safe space to talk about their marriage, because church doesn't allow them to, and therapy, even your therapist is shaming you. You know, you have a good man. You should be grateful. Some of us out here are suffering. Letting your personal opinions bleed into your work. Black therapists, we need to do better. But also, I'm not here to shame everyone. I'm not saying all therapists, but especially women of a certain age who've glorified the idea of marriage, and especially religious women. My God, those of us from the so-called global south, we need to do better. Black women deserve a healthy relationship with food, nourishing their bodies and improving their overall health beyond weight loss. Some people are just happy with their weight. Who are you to have an opinion? Real solutions must address these conditions and provide opportunities for Black women to thrive. You thrive. Thriving is actually being able to sleep well, to being able to afford housing, being able to afford healthcare. And in case something devastating happens, like a flood, you're able to go to safety. Those are the things we're asking for, basic things in 2024. Someone is going to tell me, but you see, these are issues that also affect Black men. You're not my target audience. Am I sorry? No. I was assigned female at birth. My target audience is Black women. That is why I now exclusively work with women. Even white women, but women, because my God, male clients exhaust me. And they don't pay enough for me to afford the kind of therapy I want to do every 2 weeks. Black women don't like healthy foods. The next time I hear people say that keto diet and carnivore diet, and I'm like, with what money am I eating chicken every day, chicken breast every day? Our culture is very, very, very plant-based. So for all those people touting the idea that githeri is bad, or jollof rice is bad, or couscous is superior, or there's something wrong with white rice, imagine just go die in a fire. Really. Githeri is good for you. Modokoi is good for you. Mokimo is good for you. Eat it like there's no tomorrow. Yam, cassava leaf, all the leafy green vegetables, all the tomatoes, because I'm waiting to hear those people say, oh, but they're oxalates and they have very likely pesticides. Because I'm also meeting more and more Black people who live in the diaspora, who have allergies, who have autoimmune diseases, which disappear when they go back to Africa. Make it make sense. Our food is superior. Just. And our farming skills were fantastic before we were brought pesticides. Another one. Oh yeah. She says about women, Black women not liking healthy foods, which is BS. And I don't mean Bible study. The issue isn't about eating healthy, but access, financial and physical access, how far from the market and how much money she can put aside for that, while also thinking about school fees and rent and the hair, because now we tell our children their hair has to be neat because our standards for neatness are white. Yeah. So it's access to nutritious, affordable, and culturally relevant food in the face of systemic barriers. When I say culturally relevant, I have never told a Black client of mine to look for asparagus. They still manage to bring down their blood cholesterol with their managu and terere and spinach and whatever vegetable they have. Because I've worked with clients from Kibra, slum. I've worked with clients from Korogosho, who cook with fat, not oil. Where are they getting money for olive oil? Where? With this trash government. I have worked with clients from Kajiado, and I've worked with clients from Kilifi. So this is some of the poorest. When I say poor, I mean access to healthcare poor people in Kenya. So come at me with, oh, you know. This one hit home, that Black women are gluttonous. The idea that Black women are inherently gluttonous stems from racist stereotypes dating back to the 18th and 19th centuries. Please go read a book, by the way. Go do research. Google is free on fat phobia and where it came from and why white and skinny is the standard. Including, do your research on the BMI. Do your research on the speculum. And realize why Black women have a hard time going to hospital to pat their thighs for a doctor to open them like that. Especially when you know what we know about the speculum. The father of gynecology. Go read that. Fat phobia is rooted in racialization of Black bodies, where being larger was deemed inferior to justify oppression and the control of Black women. Black women are difficult to work with is so much nonsense. I'm not delving into it. What she says here, we deserve respect, not labels. We deserve to be seen, feel safe. We deserve to feel safe. We deserve to be supported, especially when it comes to our health. Because sometimes we yell, like I am doing, because you're not listening, and we are tired. And I love how she finishes. The world isn't ready for the truth about Black women. but we're about to serve it anyway. This is me serving you the truth, because we need to just look at healthcare differently. This is me calling upon nutritionists and doctors and other healthcare providers, especially of color, and those who are allies, so those who are other race, to speak up. To speak up when you see these things happening in hospitals where a patient is ignored, or a patient, their chart is not read right. If you make a mistake, own up. I'm human. I'd rather know my doctor cares enough to go like, yeah, I messed up. Or maybe don't say you messed up, but do something to rectify it because you're afraid of getting sued. Because you never know what a patient will do. But don't cause harm. The Hippocratic Oath is to do no harm. And I don't have to have taken it to just respect someone and treat them with dignity. Yeah, yours truly is triggered. I need to step away.